Bruno Senna back out in front for Aston Martin in Pro GT in 20th place overall, and it's Jean-Carl Venet in the IMSA Matmut Porsche leading GTM 32nd place overall. And as Jeremy just said, 7 retirements, so that means that we have at the moment 49 cars still running, because we started 56. And
how's the wall chart coming along, Mark?
yeah, well, we've got to start marking that up soon. So.
Oh, the marker of doom.
Yeah. Oh, man, look at that. That was a scary moment there, particularly for whoever was aboard the Murphy prototype. It's kind of a 48. He nearly got barged off the track and into the barriers there at the exit of Tertre Rouge.
I think that's Mark Patterson, isn't it?
It is.
Who's this year's oldest driver at Le Mans.
Second oldest driver.
I think he's the oldest this year.
Here we go. Here it is again.
Right.
Like 64. Boy, that was close.
You know, I didn't know that the oldest driver ever at Le Mans was Felbermeyer Sr. In 2011, or was it last year? 2011, I think.
And again, here we are.
Benoit, 66 years old.
Benoit Trullier,
oh my goodness!
squeezing through.
There it is. Wow, that really was close.
This is Benoit's local circuit, of course. He lives just up the road at Alençon. He knows it so well.
Maybe a little bit ambitious, though. That he literally just actually brushed him. I think it was really.
I think Daniel Poissonneau will have been watching that, but he's a French driver, so
he got away with it. Just.
Yeah, and heads up driving there by Mark Patterson. I mean, he couldn't have got any farther across the left-hand side of the road.
No, he'd done everything he could. He definitely wasn't in the way. There just wasn't quite enough room for the whole Toyota there, just barely.
P2, Jan Mardenborough in the Zytek has just done another fastest sector too, so he is still flying, the young Welshman, having such a good race.
And he's been super consistent too. He's been turning 3 minutes 41s, 42s, 43s. That is very impressive in a P2 car around here, particularly given the fact that it's his first time here. I mean, it's very easy to lose 3 or 4 seconds, particularly coming through the Porsche curves. You get stuck behind a Porsche or something like that. And every time I look at the scoring, it's around about the same sort of mark. I'd say Mardenborough has been unbelievably consistent in actual fact in terms of his lap time. Very, very impressive.
Well, very tidy, and I think the circuit is very fast at the moment. We're seeing quite a few fast sector times. This is usually, when it's dry and a bit cooler in the morning, is usually when we see some of the cars' best times, actually.
No question, and we've seen it already. We saw Mike Conway set the fastest lap in P2 about 45 minutes ago, and you know, fast is one speed though, but it's one thing, consistency is another. And you consider the fact that 2 years ago, Jan Mardenborough had never sat in a racing car at all. All he was doing was gaming on that the PlayStation systems at home on the couch, basically. But to see the progress he has made, a new fastest lap for him there, 3 minutes 40.7. It's remarkable what he's been able to achieve. And I know Darren Cox from Nissan, who's been involved in that program, set up that program as bringing on these young drivers, giving them the opportunity to drive proper racing cars. He's only going to put them into this sort of a car, this sort of an event, if he knows they can handle themselves. And Jan, he's been busy. Last year he drove in the GT3 Championship in the UK, did the British GT Championship, did a super job there. Over the winter he was racing in New Zealand in the Toyota Racing Series, and then this year he's racing in Formula 3 and getting a lot of mileage. And that's what this sport is all about, mileage and experience.
Yeah, and Jan next weekend goes to the Norris Ring in the Formula 3, and we were talking about that with him, and what a difference from Le Mans to Norris Ring, weekends apart. And if he goes there as a podium finisher at Le Mans, he's going to be a real hero there.
Well, he will be, and he's a very lucky boy, actually, because there's a lot of racing drivers out there that don't get that opportunity, that don't get to do a lot of testing even, let alone racing in lots of different cars. And it is seat time, and he's probably had more seat time than some people who've been driving for a lot of years already. And I think that makes a huge difference. You know, I think a lot of people can sympathize with me in those days when you know you're never going to get enough testing because there isn't the money behind it. You're thrown into the deep end. You've got a few laps to learn a circuit, and you know that you couldn't have done weeks and weeks and weeks of testing and racing because it just isn't possible. And he's very lucky to be in this program getting so much seat time right now.
It's everything. It's absolutely everything. Experience, experience, experience. That's what it's all about. That's the only way you're going to improve yourself a driver. That's why Nissan guys have done such a fabulous job with him. So, you know, but the really good thing about it, from my perspective, I'd never met Jan Mardenborough before this week because I'm based in the United States these days, and I've just been really impressed with him as a person. He's humble. He's very appreciative of this opportunity. He knows that he's got the chance of a lifetime here, and that anybody else who wants to be a racing driver would give their hind teeth to be in the position he has been put. And he's humble, and he's doing exactly with this opportunity what he should be doing with this opportunity.
Just comparing our first and second place Oak Morgans, just their different styles going down through the Forest S's there. And interestingly, we got 7 Oreca chassis running in LMP2, but none of them in the top 3. We got 2 Oak Morgans and 1 Zytek chassis. So Hugh de Schoenack, who's also running the Toyota program, will just be looking at that thinking, let's get one of those Oreca cars up a little bit further. But all customer cars, of course, none of them are
Trust me,
factory
they're trying. The other guys are trying, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mike Conway now in the number 26 car for Delta ADR. He's within about a minute and 10 seconds of Jan Mardenborough. Behind him, Maxime Martin in the number 46 car, the Tyrrell by TDS car. He is about 2.5 minutes behind, about a minute and a half behind Mike Conway. And the 2 leaders you were just talking about, the 2 Oak Racing Morgan Nissans, they are separated by about 23 seconds now. So Bertrand Baguette, who's driving the number 35 car, definitely seems to be closing in on Olivier Pla, who took the pole position in P2 on Thursday.
It was interesting watching Jan Mardenborough's in-car there coming through, and also having just watched the Toyota recently, you can see him just dropping down an extra gear into that last part of the Porsche curves where the Toyota doesn't drop down at all. They just have a little breathe, and it just goes to show how much sort of extra downforce they have and how tight the car is through there, because that's an LMP1 car going that much faster and not dropping a gear. It's just interesting for me to see sort of where the different car limits are. Just watching there, another flying car over these curvings. I think we've seen nearly every GT car catching air, and there we have a flying Toyota.
Everyone except flying lizards this year. Where's the lizards when we want them?
I don't know. They've been a real great installment of Le Mans for many years. I was thinking that earlier, actually, Mark. I was thinking, where are flying lizards this year? I don't know what's happened with that program.
Of course, we've got to start thinking very, very soon about driver of the race, car of the race. I mean, Jan Mardenborough must be somewhere up there in the Eurosport cabin's choice of driver of the race.
Yeah, he's pretty far up there for me at the moment.
And how about Krohn for car of the race eventually?
Oh, I don't know.
Two-tone Krohn. Just A for effort, certainly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think for A for effort from the team for rebuilding it, certainly.
Yeah, Mike Conway's in the reckoning as well,
yeah,
particularly with his retro helmet.
Definitely, yeah. I know he would be up there for me.
That's the
100%.
That's the American journalist coming out, isn't it? Yes.
What is?
Mike Conway.
Well, he's English.
IndyCar driver.
Oh, we see. Yes, okay.
Sorry, we're a bit.
It's been a long night, you know. It's been a long night.
Oh, he got his braking completely wrong.
Talking of Oak Racing, like we were a couple of minutes ago, that's the 3rd Oak Racing car, the Arch car. Who's driving that one at the moment?
I'm not sure, but he ignored his own.
Oh, Jacques Nicolet, the team owner. Yeah. Yes, boss.
Big lock
do whatever you
there
like.
for the G-Drive car as well. Whoa.
Well, that's Mike Conway.
Yeah, seriously hot he was coming into that corner, wasn't he? That was Mike Conway coming up on Jan Mardenborough. Is that for?
No, it wasn't Marlborough.
Oh, was it not? Okay.
No.
Olivier Pla's been in this car certainly for the last 2 hours. Is this going to be a driver change? Doesn't look like it, does it?
No, I don't think so. I think we're doing.
Yeah, generally when they change
tyres,
they change drivers, don't they? But not this. Well, we'll see. Actually, is that all black helmet?
Unless they already changed before we.
Might be David Heinemeier Hansen. If it's an all black helmet, it would be David Heinemeier Hansen.
I think you're right, Jeremy. It does look to be
the Dane who lived most of the last 10 years in Chicago, now bases himself in the south of Spain.
Here's Mike Gascoigne's charge, the Caterham Greaves car, and having all sorts of problems at the front.
Yes.
It's not had an easy run, that car, has it? A lot of problems. It had a big accident early on in the practice this week. They managed to repanel the car, I believe they had to do on one side, amongst other things. And now it's been struggling throughout this race. And yeah, lots going on in here. Again, it looks like that's a suspension issue, amongst other things. I think there's a couple things going on there. Hard for us to know from our view here in the commentary box.
Yeah, here's our race leader then. Bertrand Baguette has taken over the... well, no, Bertrand Baguette is still on board the 35 car because David Heinemeier Hansen is now dropped just behind him, having had that pit stop. That'll change fairly soon, I should imagine.
And I think this car, the art car,
Nicolet's got a problem, isn't
maybe
it?
that might be
Rear
why
puncture?
he went off, actually, is because he's got a rear puncture. Is it? Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, no. It's very
I think
hard
it must
to
be the
know.
right rear because the looks like the left front was sort of wallowing around there.
don't know.
It looks okay, doesn't it? Maybe it's got a
Yeah, but
suspension
it is
problem there.
broken.
Yeah, I think it might be
Yeah.
a suspension issue, which, yeah, the way it's darting back and forth, I think perhaps that's a
Suspension
rear
or
suspension or something major, and
Or
which could
something
be
in the
why he went
steering.
off. Perhaps you
Yeah.
were saying he missed his brake zone, but it may have been that something just broke.
Well, he missed his braking. We're going to take a break, and he's just waving cars by. Again, doesn't want to be hit from behind, as you've mentioned. Yeah.
Horrible.
We'll be back after these messages here live on Eurosport from Le Mans. That's one of the shortest breaks in history. We are back looking at Jacques Nicolet, the third oldest man in the race, 57 years old. Mark Patterson, 61. And Jeremy were reminding me, oh dear, Liz is just...
I thought he was about... Well,
as a driver, Liz is absolutely on
sort of
tenterhooks here.
cringing at the
Yeah.
back. He is doing a very good job. He's trying really hard not to get hit in a car that keeps leaping to the right. I'm thinking possibly that's a suspension issue. It looks that way, but it's hard to tell, but certainly not an easy place to be right now for him, especially with an unpredictable car. There's one thing having your car too slow with a problem, then there's having it slow and unpredictable, which is really unpleasant.
Yeah, Jeremy just pointing out that in fact Howard Blank is the oldest driver here, was the oldest driver here at 64, and Howard had a mighty accident in the night.
Yeah, he certainly did. That was a huge... He had several offs, and that was the final one. That was the end of that one. Actually, there's another sensible aged guy in the race as well. Philip Ezebrook. It was also a very late entry. He's 58 as well, actually, from just up the road in Rouse.
Jacques Nicolet's being knocked down the order.
Yes, he has. Yes, he's been shuffled back. Sorry.
Here's another of his cars, sister car, the 35 car. That was Bertrand Baguette coming out. Just seeing a quick replay of some of the action of the night. Most of it sleeping action. Liz.
Oh no, I just saw a car coming into pit lane that I thought maybe had a problem, but I think he was just pitting like normal. But oh dear, look at that.
Coyote sleeping.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was in the SRT Viper pit late last night, and there were crew guys sprawled out in all sorts of different poses all the way right across the floor on various different chairs, and I was chatting with Ryan DeYell at the time, and we were having a good chuckle looking at all these guys. It was great, but you know, boy, any chance they get to snatch a few Z's, a few yeah, it just a cat nap, if you like. It'll there you go. It's kind of waking up a bit now.
And you'll see these guys, you know, I've seen teams where they're all asleep in their chair, but with all their radio headset on. The minute the driver's saying, I'm coming in the pits, I've got a problem, you'll see them just leap through the air because they're so primed and ready for that. And it's like battle stations. The minute there's any opportunity, here we go. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's what we saw. This
same car, is it? Or no, it's a different car.
Is that a replay?
No, this is
This
is the level 5, and I don't think this is a replay.
No, we got the
kind of does that on a regular basis, and that's just the way it is. There's unburned fuel there out of the turbos of the Honda.
It's quite special, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Particularly cool at night.
Well, yeah, definitely. Oh, is this the art car finally into pit lane? He'll be very happy to be coming here. We should see him in front of us just now.
Jack. Yeah, well done, Jack.
Man I worked for at one time. He has a television production company in Monaco. Amongst many of his attributes, he's an entrepreneur of great multi-talents, and very, very genial Frenchman, Jack, and good job he's done. Bought the Pescarolo team, of course, and that then morphed into Ocron, which is now based here at Le Mans in the old Pescarolo premises. Henri Pescarolo, as we saw, driving the pace car at the start of the race, and is in the next door cabin with our Eurosport France colleagues. Not right now, but he has been over the weekend, so Henri will not lie down.
No, we've heard noises about Henri trying to come back to Le Mans with the team. We don't know yet if he'll be able to pull that all together, but wouldn't we all love to see him back here with the Pescarolo? That would be wonderful. And a really big French fan. The French have always supported Pescarolo.
Yeah.
So yeah, just seeing the art car here pushing in, hopefully we'll be able to see what's actually happened there, but I suspect it's a suspension issue.
Yeah, it's so heavy of all these road signs all over it that it's
oh dear, Mark.
Actually, just
more sleep needed, I think.
Talking to Jacques Nicolet, one of the co-drivers is Jean-Marc Merlin, who, happy birthday to him, by the way. He celebrates today his 49th birthday.
Oh, excellent.
Making his Le Mans debut this season.
It's a good way to celebrate your birthday,
yeah, not
isn't
bad
it?
at all, yeah. He's basically a vintage car racer. I'd never heard the name. Well, not heard much. He's raced various different vintage cars. He had a Lola T70. He's got the old ADA Porsche 962C. He's got various other classic cars as well, which he owns and educated actually in North America too. So he's a bit of a citizen of the world. So happy birthday, Jean-Marc Merlin. I'm sorry to see your car, or the car you're sharing with Jacques Nicolet and Philippe Mondelot, another Le Mans rookie, in trouble now.
Well, we've had on Twitter, Real Racing Roots has told us that Flying Lizards are still in ALMS, going GTC this season, waiting for the 991 GT3 RSR customer program. So thank you very much for that. And also, Robert Greasley, we're just giving a shout out to your 4-year-old son, Rupert, because he's up and asking why he yawns a lot, which is, he will get used to that after a few more years of Le Mans, I'm sure.
I mean, will anyone ever replace the lizards here? They're catapult-launched hats flying into the crowd. I mean, that is one of the abiding images of the lizards' visits.
And the poor lizards always having quite a tough run of Le Mans. They seem to have this horrible black cloud that sits over them at Le Mans. And every year we think, surely they'll do better this time. But they always seem to. Yeah, they did. Yeah, finally. But they had a lot of. They seem to almost every year have something horrible go wrong.
Pit stop for the race leader, car number 2, Tom Christensen, brings the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro into the pits. Fuel only, and away he goes. Boy, that was a quick stop.
Very quick, yeah. Change of the water bottle for Tom Christensen as well.
Just about a minute pit stop, yeah, less than that. 58 seconds from the line at the entry to pit lane to the line at the exit of the pit lane. 58 seconds. That's a very good stop. 58 seconds. We don't see many stops quicker than that.
And Reinhold, yes, we just saw there, still hands-on after all these years. He was a Le Mans driver himself. He won Le Mans so many times with the lucky number 7 with his Porsches. He has actually got a painting hanging at home in the attic, and that gets older as he stays the same age.
Nice to see him still here. Everybody looking a little bit sleepy this time in the morning, and I'm sure that we all look the same. I reckon I've aged about 5 years just overnight.
So Christophe Bouret now taking over the 76 car. Vernet's done his bit in the Matmut Porsche. Quite a short stint, actually. I think Jean Carlini did one stint there.
Very rare.
He'd have done more than that for sure.
Must have done. No, well, I would say most teams are doing at least 3 stints.
When we came on, Raymond Rack was on board. Jean Carbonet took it over, and now Christophe Bouret is shown as
when did you come on?
In that 76 car. We've only been on for 2 hours, so.
How interesting. I wonder why that is, because at this stage in the race, certainly in the early morning when it's this cool, because it is very cool outside, isn't it, Jeremy Shaw? You would expect to see most teams doing 3, 4, maybe even 5 if the Audis are still being that brave. Well, it's cool. I'm guessing they're probably down to 4 stints now, but certainly not a single.
He certainly had a long stint overnight, and one of the regulations here is you're not allowed to do more than 4 hours behind the wheel within a 6-hour period. So it could be something to do with that.
But they wouldn't have put him in, surely, then. You know, that's what I'm saying, is you would have thought if he'd done a long stint like that, the next 2 drivers would have done quite long stints. It wouldn't have come upon his time yet within that 6-hour period.
But if you do get, the more time he spends behind the wheel of that car, the farther ahead it's going to get, because he is the quickest guy in GTE AM. It would appear, at least
Bouret needs some car time to qualify. There is a maximum of 14 hours. Is there a minimum that a driver? must drive to be classified.
I believe it's 4 hours.
Yep.
Am I correct?
So maybe Bure missed out the night, and
oh, maybe.
Who knows?
Oh, who knows? We're all just speculating now.
Mark Patterson then holds the record this year for the most spins in one lap, and that was at the start of practice on Wednesday night when the rain came down. And,
yeah, he admitted that was a real eye-opener because it was horrendous conditions, and you know, he'd never driven here before, and oh yeah, that was a scary session for Mark. But you know, to his credit, I mean, he really focused himself and has done a fantastic job for somebody who's 61 years of age. He does drive a lot, of course, these days. He's driven in the Rolex Grand Am Series in Daytona prototypes for several years. He's been racing over here in several years in FAI GT3 cars, amongst other things. So he's got plenty of experience. He drove his first prototype, Le Mans prototype type race at Petit Le Mans last year. So yeah, lots of experience, but boy, he's really done a super job. He really takes this seriously.
And I think those conditions would have been difficult for anybody, really, especially a Le Mans rookie. So, you know, we will let him off a little bit there, and especially in a prototype car. I mean, it is really tricky.
Spinning is no problem as long as you don't hit anything.
Yeah, he managed not to hit anything.
Yeah, Jacques Villeneuve, his first ever Grand Prix, or in preparation for his first ever Grand Prix at Silverstone 1977, he spun on every single corner during his first day of practice in the McLaren, and everybody said, boy, this guy's completely wild and out of control. Well, he was just, and he said afterwards, yeah, I was just learning the limits of the car. The usual French-Canadian Gallic shrug. I'm just learning the
limits.
And you know, and he was.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't BS from Gilles. That's what he was doing. He was exploring the limits of the car, finding them, overstepping them, because you don't know how fast you can go until you get to that limit.
We just went back to
it takes a lot of guts to do that.
We just went back to the Oak Racing car of Jack Nicolay, and it looks like they're replacing a steering rack. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense with the darting around as well, doesn't it? So, and I wonder, it didn't look like he'd hit anything or anything, and maybe it just failed, but.
Two of the three Audis then running together. We're on board the number 3 car. That's Luca Di Grassi, and just ahead of him is race leader Tom Christensen, who is 2 laps down the road. 2 laps, 1 minute 41 seconds. And Tom, little lock up there, going into the Forza chicane, the first one.
Maybe feeling a little bit of pressure from the number 3 car right behind him.
Well, Luca would like to unlap himself, I think. And remember, another Le Mans rookie, Luca Di Grassi, despite the fact he has he has had huge success, hasn't he? And he won Sao Paulo for Audi last autumn, race we showed live on Eurosport.
Yeah, talented guy. He got a brief opportunity in Formula 1. Won races in GP2 before that, and all the way up the ladder. So, you know, plenty of talent there, and good to see him get this opportunity. Yeah, he's the only one. There's 41 rookies in the race. We talked about that several times during the event, but he's the only rookie in the P1 class.
Yeah, remember, he raced in Formula 1, 24 Grand Prix. Can you remember which team that was with?
I do not, but Jeremy probably does.
Yeah, it was with
Virgin.
Yes, right.
There's a name to come
now Marussia, yeah.
It's not often you would see a Le Mans rookie in the Audi, is there? No. You know, it just doesn't, it seems like, I don't know, I feel like all those drivers have been going forever in that car, but I suppose they've got to bring him in at some stage, don't they?
Jeremy made the point last night. This is one of the drivers they really, really want to bring on there. This is the future. Tom and Alan won't be around forever. You know, there's going to come the time when they want to say, you know, it's enough, like Dindo Capello and Manuele Pirro. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And Frank Bieler, indeed.
No, he'll certainly be one to watch for the future, that's for sure.
Again, that depends how long Audi's here. A lot of rumours flying around this weekend that when Porsche come in, which is part of the Audi group, maybe Audi will only have 1 year racing against them, then might look at something else. Who knows?
Yeah, and I guess a parting of the ways that the head of the Audi, or the VW Audi group, Motorsports, the Group Motorsports director for VW Audi Group, who is
the board member, Wolfgang Dürheimer.
Right.
He left the company just before Le Mans.
Right.
We won't expand on that, but it was...
Why?
He was due to be the key speaker here at the Audi press conference, and on his 55th birthday, he parted ways with Audi.
Yeah. Very interesting. Purple sector, always like looking at purple sector times. For Marcel Fessler in car number 1, still fighting its way up the field. And Fessler, he's got up into 7th place now. He's passed the Stracker HPD. Number 3 car coming to the pit lane. One more time. 24th time, or 23rd or 24th time into the pits for car number 3, the same as the number 2 car. The 2 Toyotas, they've only been into the pit lane 21 times so far. They'll be owing us a stop fairly soon, actually, as I say that Alex Wurz is just rejoining. Yeah, 3 fewer stops for the Toyotas, but still the best of them a lap behind the overall race leader.
And then look at the Rebellions, Jeremy, 19 and 20 pit stops respectively. They're getting so much distance out of their fuel loads, got extra 3 litres like the Toyota factory car has, and making the most of it.
Great to see them doing so well in this race. I don't want to give them the curse of the commentator, but it is fantastic that they're sort of nipping at the heels and waiting for anything to happen. I think that's what they said early on in the race when we were down in the pits. They said, well, we'll be here hopefully waiting for something to go wrong, and they certainly are there. They're in the hunt. They're up there with the P1 cars, and you never know, something could happen.
So here we go. This is the moment we just saw as the Audi came in. Look at that crowding going into the Dunlop chicane.
Yeah,
great stuff.
Looks like one of those Porsches being ushered off. Here it is. That's the...
Well, that was tight.
It's number 80, number 77 car, I think it was actually. No, it was the 88 car with the silver shade band across the windscreen. One of the Proton competition run cars. Ushered off into the gravel almost. He just about managed to get it out, didn't he? Nice job, actually.
I was lucky, very lucky indeed.
And that was Max Martin going out just in front of the Audi. That was a nice little bit of filming. And look at how quickly he gets away. The Audi just slightly slower getting off. Yeah,
that number 88 car, Christian Reed driving that car now. That was very much in contention for the win in GTE AM until, I don't know, a couple of hours or so ago. It's now down to about 8th or 9th place in the class. But the 88 car, along with the 77, Patrick Dempsey at the wheel of that one still at the moment, having just made a pit stop, they were, you know, dicing for the lead along with the 76 car.
Well, I've double shifted and I'm about to leave you. Carlton Kerb is back in the cabin and I will see you. I'm going to leave him with you
I'm
too.
I'm leaving as well.
See you soon. Okay, Liz, we're on a break.
Ya. Bye.
We're back with Eurosport Live at Le Mans. We're just coming up the 7 hours to go mark. It's nearly 8 o'clock in the morning here. The great race will finish at 3 this afternoon. Hope you've got your coffee, croissants like we have, and just relax back and enjoy the action. It's Audi leading overall. Tom Christensen, Alan McNish and Luca Di Grassi are there. It's not Luca Di Grassi. Falling over myself now. Locke Duval. And they lead P1. P2 led by the Oak Racing Morgan of Bertrand Baguette. In Pro GTE, it's Bruno Senna leading. Yeah, Bruno Senna, you heard that right, a Le Mans rookie from Porsche and from Peter Dumbrek. And in GT it is Raymond Marac's car, the IMSA Performance Porsche of Christophe Bourret. Carlton Kirby will be joining us in just a moment, and Jeremy Shaw's alongside me, and so too is Damien Faulkner. Damien, welcome back.
Good morning. Good to be here. Now, where are those croissants?
Well, we just ate them. You were just 10 seconds too late. So, Damien, you've had a wander around the paddock on the way back in, just seeing what's going on, or?
No, I'm afraid we just came straight here, so missed a little bit of the action.
Dropping at the deck end, yeah.
Got some sleep, which was nice.
Probably during the night, we had an eight safety cars are up to now. We had rain during the night. Those of you just joining us, there was quite a long stoppage. Howard Blank crashed his Ferrari very heavily, punched a hole in the barriers, and that meant that they had to have another safety car over a long time. This has been a problem over the weekend. The Armco taking such a battering here, not just during the race, but during practice and qualifying.
Yeah, and the trouble is it takes so long to repair it, you know. That's one of the difficulties, isn't it, with the Armco barrier, getting the machinery down there to it, and getting all those nuts and bolts off, and then obviously replacing the panels with new ones. So we saw a big crash actually before we retired last night with the number 30 HVM status car. Huge crash, but that was against the wall, so in actual fact the stoppage wasn't too bad at all.
Right, we're riding on board with Richard Leitz at the moment. This is the Manthey Racing Porsche, factory Porsche. This is the all-new singing, dancing 991, the one which has now got wishbone front suspension rather than McPherson struts. It's got the radiators moved. It's much lower. And here we are, problem here for the 47 car. This is Alex Imperati in the number 47 Morgan. This is a car we were talking up just a few minutes ago, and they're being pushed into the garage. He took it over from Matt Howson and Ho Ping Tung. This is the Chinese car in effect. There we are, bang on 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at home if you're just waking up. Richard Lietzen and Bruno Senna swapping places every lap in GT Pro. This has been a real feature battle.
Yeah, that's been a fantastic battle. That's been going on for a long time. In fact, the last stint that I did last night, and long before that, the stint before that as well. So, yeah, that's really exciting and a good proper battle for honours in the GTE Pro class. You've got Richard Leitz taking that, as you say, over from Bruno Senna at the moment, with Peter Dumbreck further back in third, and then Timo Bernhard for Porsche in fourth place in that category.
Right, well, next to us is joining us Anthony Reid. Anthony, good morning. You've had a busy weekend. You were driving Mike Hawthorne's car in the Legends race yesterday morning. Can you just switch Anthony on? Thank you.
Hi.
Yesterday morning.
That's better.
And Anthony, I mean, of course, a lot of us remember your Group C performances here. So you've been a long-time Le Mans racer.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven a lot of different cars, a great range of cars. I mean, from the MG LMP 675, which is incredibly quick, and we actually did battle with the Audis and ran as high as third before the car broke down. Driving Mike Hawthorne's D-Type yesterday, the 1955 Le Mans winner. What a famous car. There is only one of those cars on the planet, and I was driving it yesterday. How lucky am I?
How did the race go for you?
Well, you know, these cars, it's not like modern sports car racing where the cars are incredibly reliable. There's been very few retirements over the 24-hour race this weekend. It's all about reliability with these old cars, and the D-Type, we had problems with the head gasket in qualifying, so I only qualified 7th. I made one lap in qualifying, and then in the race made a great start, got up to 3rd place, had a big battle with the sister car Gary Pearson in another D-Type, the Maserati, and of course Buncombe, who got a little bit of he got away at the start as we fell over each other, but it was just sensational. I mean, just racing those valuable cars, priceless cars, wheel to wheel. It was great fun in tricky conditions.
Oh, conditions are horrible, weren't they? Absolutely horrible.
But I just love it, because that's what Le Mans is all about. It's like a close-range knife fight for 24 hours. You know,
Jeremy behind you is doing great arm-locking movements.
I love the oversteer.
How do you park those thoughts of this being the only car on the planet when you had a fantastic first lap yesterday coming through the field?
you know what we racing drivers are like. When you get in the car, all of that goes out the window. You just want to race and have fun and win.
You do, Anthony. I mean, one of the standout drives for me of classic racing for years, must have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago at the Silverstone Classic. You had the Acela in that evening race, and it was one of the finest performances I've ever seen.
Yes, the LMP, sorry, the Lola T290. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, just going to interrupt for a second. Is this the 98 car? It's limping around.
It's got a puncture.
Yeah, rear puncture.
Left rear, that's right rear.
Yeah, this is, of course, Roland Goethe was on board that car. No, it's, which one is that? That's the
thing about Le Mans, and you can't really see that on television, is the scale.
Bill Oberlin. Yeah,
Bill Oberlin.
The scale of the track. It's so long. If you get a puncture at the back of the circuit, it's a real battle to get the car back. It's not like driving around Silverstone. You're back in the pits within a minute. You know, it can take you 15 minutes to get the car back to the pits if you've got a puncture or some other mechanical problem.
You've mentioned some of the cars you've driven here. I remember the Group C Porsche performance you had. I mean, what was your favourite car here?
Quite a few of them. I mean, racing a Ferrari, I forget exactly what it was, in 2005. The Le Mans Porsche 962 is probably my favourite because we ended up on the podium. We were operating out of what I call the Steve McQueen pits. You know, it was before this big building was built, and there weren't proper pit garages. There were pit boxes. The pit lane was incredibly narrow. The pit signallers couldn't make the signalling from the pit wall here. Signalling was done from Mulsanne Corner. So when you passed the pits, somebody then, you know, who'd taken your lap time would have to wind up the black telephone in each of the pit boxes and signal, you know, give the message through to the signalling area at Mulsanne Corner, and that's where you got your lap time. It was so atmospheric. 962 doing 225 miles an hour on the Mulsanne straight. It's difficult to see past that. I mean, it was just such a great experience, and my first time at Le Mans.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, we've got, of course, the Silverstone Classic coming up in 2 or 3 weeks' time. You're going to be there again?
Yes. I'm very fortunate to drive for Nigel Webb. He's a great Mike Hawthorne enthusiast. Also has many Jaguars. He's got a museum in the grounds of his car. A museum in the grounds of his house, and has about 20 Jaguars. He's got a library upstairs which has all the provenance of the cars, the history, full-time, you know, full-blown workshop next door, and I drive many of his cars. So next, you know, at the Silverstone Classic, I'm going to be driving the D-Type. He's got an E-Type that was raced by Salvadorian period, and possibly a Mark II Jaguar.
Excellent. Well, we've got a safety car, Anthony. This is the 9th safety car, I think Jeremy will confirm, of the race so far. The 8th one was for Howard Blanc during the evening when he punched the rail. Can you see? Oh, it's oil on track. Yeah. That's why. And it wasn't a puncture. It's an oil problem for that Bill Oberlin.
That must have been blue smoke
Aston
then.
Martin. Yeah. It looked like the cockpit was full of smoke as well, didn't it, when he stopped?
He's parked down there at Mulsanne Corner there.
Yeah. So he has dropped that oil is on the entry to the second chicane that we've been given the light on. So Anthony, you're wearing a Goodwood Festival of Speed hat as well. So I mean, you've raced at Goodwood in the Revival, haven't you, as well as
raced
in the festival.
Beautiful cars. I'm also the reigning king of the hill of the Goodwood Festival of Speed, winning in for Chevron last year. Yeah. In front of all the major car manufacturers, which for me was one of the highlights of last season. But the Revival is a very special event, as you well know, and I've driven a whole range of cars. They have priceless cars: Ferrari 250 short wheelbase, the D-Type Jaguar, E-Type, a Shelby Cobra last year. I was leading the Cobra, the special Cobra special celebration race by 10 seconds and got a black flag for having a problem with the exhaust. And we still finished on the podium. And you know, very special, that Shelby Cobra. And the previous evening, I'd had supper with Cleo Shelby. That's Shelby's wife, at the house at Goodwood, and she was regaling me with some great stories about the history of the car. And,
wonderful. And again, yesterday we enjoyed seeing the Wilmot Cobra and the Cobra Daytona Coupe in your race, in the Legends race.
Yeah, the Daytona Cobra, it's a very special car. That there are only 10 in existence. 6 original, and that one that you saw racing yesterday was actually built out of a standard Shelby Cobra some years ago. So it's not entirely original, but still a very special car.
Of course, Peter Brock, of course, designed that on the back of an envelope over lunch, didn't he? When Carroll Shelby said, I need a quicker Cobra.
Yeah.
And Peter Brock has been here many years at Le Mans. Not this year. We haven't seen him this year, so I guess he's decided to take a holiday for a year. Anthony Reid, thank you very much for joining us. Carlton Kirby is ready to come back into the chair, and all the best at the Goodwood Festival and at the Goodwood Hill Climb.
Thank you. Looking forward to it, and thanks for inviting me this morning.
Good.
Cheers.
Anthony Reid, thank you very much indeed. So, just trying to clear some of this oil debris of the Aston Martin of Bill Auberlen. Just if you're just joining us, the 98 car has been out of the running for some time in the top places. But Hugh de Schonack there, overseeing the Toyota program, working together with Toyota Germany on the Japanese car. And Bill Auberlen knows he's not going to go any further.
No, but he's plugging. He seems to be. Is he plugging in his radio to talk to the team, to ask the team something, or is he trying to disconnect it?
Yeah, the rule is you don't go more than 5 meters from the car, else it's considered to be abandoned. So as long as you stay within the close proximity of the car with the radio on. And Carlton is about to leap into my seat, and he's never looked more wonderful on a Sunday morning.
And while you two change over, just a quick note about Anthony Reid. And people, I get a lot of questions. How do I get to become a racing driver? And my answer is, how hard do you want to work? We're going to go to well, I could probably get this in before the commercial break. But how hard do you want to work? Anthony Reid, for 3 years, worked on the oil fields up in the Shetland Islands, living in a tent and just earning as much money as he could. It was hard work, really hard work to earn the money. Came back and put his money into a racing career. Derek Daly, the father of Connor Daly, who's currently running one of the front runners in GP3, he worked for 18 months in Australia in an iron ore mine. Yeah. Absolutely right, hard labour. He and a fellow Dubliner, David Kennedy, and both of those two, Derek Daly and David Kennedy, both made it to Formula One. That's how hard they wanted to become racing drivers.
They both went to Australia together as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah, and spent 18 months down the road. Came back with enough money to buy themselves each a Formula Ford car. Made all the way to Formula One. Also, if you're trying to become a racing driver, a great resource for you to go to is www.safeisfast.com. It's a website that's been put together by the Road Racing Drivers Club in North America, and it's supported by the FIA Motorsports Institute, Safety Institute. So it's a great website. Alexander Wirtz has been a contributor to that, amongst others, in this motor race. There's a whole bunch of instructional videos about techniques, about how to find sponsorship, about how to work on your fitness, about safety. It's a tremendous website, and there's also question and answer sessions on there. Ask a Pro. Ben Edwards, the Formula One commentator for BBC, is this week's Ask a Pro. You can send in your questions via safeisfast.com. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. Don't go away.
C'est un Manitou qui a entamé le remorquage de l'Aston Martin numéro 98. Guillaume Blanc, ces derniers instants, est sorti d'ailleurs de la voiture, sur les écrans également en ce moment. La rediffusion de quelques images toujours fortes sur ces écrans, donc relevés bien sûr et enregistrés tout au long de ces 24 heures du Mans. Ces zooms sont toujours très spectaculaires, mais qui permettent aussi de voir l'énergie déployée partout. C'est pas par les commissaires, par les membres aussi, les secouristes qui sont toujours présents derrière, prêts à intervenir si jamais les conditions devaient l'exiger. Bravo à vous toutes et tous qui êtes justement dans...
Back with us again. My name is Jeremy Shaw. Alongside me, as has been for the last hour or so, Damien Faulkner. Joining us in the booth, Mr. Carlton Kirby. And we are under yellow here, the 8th caution period, I think, of the race.
Jeremy,
still nothing changed at the front.
An hour ago, I was sleeping.
Yeah.
I've just joined 10 minutes ago.
Is that all it was?
Yeah.
Seems like forever, David.
The teddy bear tells you everything you need to know.
It took Carlton just a while longer waking up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long old night. Thank you for your company if you were with us through the night, and give yourself a little medal if that was the case. The clean-up's still going on. Do you know what? I've lost count. I thought this was the 9th caution, but anyway.
Is it? I might have missed one. If there was one overnight.
Probably.
Well,
it's been dogged with them.
I thought it was the 8th, but it could be the 9th. Talking of people tuning in and staying up, couple of shout-outs from Twitter here. Ken Chia is currently watching live from Malaysia. Great to have you with us, Ken. And a nomination for the driver of the race, which we were talking about a few minutes ago. All the Aston Martin drivers, says Aid and Indy the Dog. Yes, nice name. Great suggestion, because the Aston Martin guys have done a fantastic job under horrendously difficult circumstances. Patrick O'Brien, can I have a shout out, please? Been watching in Ireland since 2 o'clock yesterday and pulled an all-nighter to watch Eurosport. What do you think about that, Damien Faulkner?
Yeah, well, I wonder if he's related to Arthur Doyle, because he's up all night as well. He's just tweeted in, and another guy has tweeted in here to ask the question, when the Audi pits, the driver Aid plugs a wire into the side of the driver's seat, and he wants to know what is that for.
Downloading the data from the onboard system. They get the live telemetry beamed back to the pits in real time as the car is going around the racetrack, but there's also there's only so much data they can transfer electronically while the car is in motion. So they plug in that computer wire to download all the data from that last stint, since its last pit stop, so the data engineers can analyze that as soon as the car leaves the pit lane. Somebody here is suggesting that staying up pretty much all night has made me sound a bit croaky. Guess that's probably the case. No, I haven't been on the cheap lager. Wish I had. But thanks for your comments. Philip Lane asked, will we see DP cars from the Grand Am series in Le Mans in the next few years as a result of the merger of Grand Am and American Le Mans series? That's a very good question, to which we do not know the answer. There's certainly been some there's going to be a lot of changes next year in sports car racing in the United States with the amalgamation of those two series. I am involved in the American Le Mans series, fortunate enough to do the television coverage of that. Hopefully I'll be doing it next year as well, fingers crossed. Where that will leave those cars in relation to Le Mans, yet to be determined.
Do you know
I'll tell you what, though, it'll keep us a lot. They're loud, those things. They are loud.
Very, very much so. Do you know, it's amazing. Endurance racing is experiencing some kind of renaissance at the moment. People are actually getting into it. We had a lot of people yesterday, as we just watched the Corvette's replay of that incident. A lot of people are actually saying that they're new to it, they've come to it, they really, really enjoy it, and absolutely hooked. Had a couple overnight who were just expanding on the attractiveness of the sport. I think if you make it live and you realize what it's all about, all of a sudden something does click with endurance racing. And whereas you might have thought 24 hours, I couldn't possibly, well, actually it kind of flies by. And especially when it's been as busy and more busy than that poor gentleman who's clearly just about reached the end of his tether. Dawn Marie Cox says, great coverage, guys. Had an all-night, but confess I did actually accidentally snooze off in the middle of it. I presume you were dreaming about us, Dawn Marie Cox, at the same time, just to stay in touch, sort of metaphorically, if you like.
Yes. Jake says he's not impressed apparently with the balanced performance rules in excuse me, in GT, and he says that they didn't pay as much as Aston or Porsche. I'm not quite sure who he's talking about there because I missed the earlier threads on that one, but you know, if he's talking about the fact there's only two marks in contention at the front of this field, the two Aston Martins and the two Porsches. The main reason for that, Jake, is because of that initial first full course caution at the beginning of the race. That split the field. 3 cars were able to pull away by a third of a lap from everybody else because of the way the 3 pace cars are run here at Le Mans. So my criticism is not with the balance of performance. I think they've got that pretty close. Yes, the Astons might have a slight advantage here, but hey, generally speaking, it's pretty close between all of the marks involved in GT racing. I think, given the fact the cars are so different, I love the fact they made them pretty close, and certainly if you look at the lap times, there's not a lot to choose between them. And it was just that fact that those cars were split away from the rest, and there was another caution later on that split them even farther away. So that's the main reason there's only the Astons and the Porsches dicing for the lead in GT.
Damien Faulkner, it's been great to have you on board this year.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm hoping that your smiley face means that you've actually very much enjoyed this, or you and that you haven't got any other kind of problems lingering.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have enjoyed it, and I promise I haven't been talking to any teams about driving here next year.
Yeah,
because I want to be back here next year, here with you guys.
It's almost been like an open application his entire time here, which is great. So, yeah, it's been good to have you on board, and we're back now for a solid session into the rest of the morning. Can you believe there's still more than 6 hours and 40 minutes remaining of this race? It's hard to get your head around, and in fact, it's about now, isn't it, where you get to breakfast time that you start thinking as a driver, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, they wake up and the guys the drivers who've been asleep will wake up now. They'll be tired, but you know, they just have to get on with the job. There's only less than 7 hours left. That's not a lot of time, because you know they're going through their rota system, and so they're just going to be, as Carlton's choking here beside me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. There's one of the Corvettes down there, car number 73. They had some problems earlier on. Jan Magnussen showing at the wheel of that car, running in 8th place in the GT class, just behind the sister car of Tommy Milner. And if our last respondent on Twitter was talking about the relative competitors of the Chevrolets, yeah, they've been taken a bit by surprise here this weekend. They're going actually not quite as quickly as they went last year. So although they've made some developments on the car, they're not quite on the pace they were last year. I spoke to Doug Feehan, the program manager, yesterday about that, and he said, you know, last year's lap times here really weren't representative, he claimed, because they got tows, aerodynamic drafts on each of the long straights here, and so those tows are able to go, cars go quicker than they might otherwise have done. Well, they have an opportunity to get tows this year. Frank, quite honestly, the cars aren't quite as quick as they were last year, and they don't really know why. They've got a little bit more weight on those cars than they were originally planning to run, but the Chevys just they've missed the mark a little bit this race.
There's a sad side. Bill Oberlin phoning America, phoning home.
Yeah, he's stranded out at the far end of the Mulsanne, isn't he?
Well, we've seen so much in terms of how you ride your luck out there. I've got to say that I'm delighted to come back in and see Toyotas 2 and 3 at the moment, and the best of them, the Sarrazin car number 8 at the moment, just a lap behind. And you never know what might happen, but well, Alan McNish was talking about how the ease or whatever of when he won, and how he almost felt like the first one was something of a gift, and then he wanted to repeat the feat. He's going for his treble, of course, and Tom Christensen, well, it is an endless list of victory. These guys, hugely experienced, and I think they're riding that. They know every inch of this circuit, and they're using it to very good effect. They're going to need all their wile and guile to bring home the big prize, because Toyota, surprise to me, are absolutely knocking on the door at the moment. The number 1 car has been amazing as well. It's up to 6th now. That was down into 23rd place, I think, at one point, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was certainly a long way down, and it's still, how many laps behind is it? 11 laps behind, which is about what it was when they had that long problem to change the alternator on that Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. A couple of other Twitter notes here. APH Motorsports, does the safety car give leaders the chance to bunch up? Well, sort of, except for the fact there's 3 safety cars here at Le Mans. So, unfortunately, they don't bunch up all together. They bunch up behind 3 different safety cars, which I've been ranting about that consistently through this race. In fact, the last several years that I've been here, fortunate enough to come here, I think that's, to me, I don't like the safety car system. I think they perhaps should bunch up the field at least before they go back to green. And it just gives, for me, it gives a better show for the fans. I mean, that's why we're here. We're not racing for ourselves. The drivers aren't racing for themselves. The teams aren't racing for themselves. We're racing for the 250,000 people that come here to watch, and countless knows how many millions watch on television around the world. So I think that would provide a better show, but that's just me.
Yes, it is a window that we have here on Eurosport into 28 million homes, let's not forget.
and that's a massive audience. I think you're absolutely right, Jeremy. It is about the show. The excuse, if there is one, is that it's such a vast circuit that you have 3 cars just to sort of neutralise the field. But yeah, I know what you mean. It would be nice to just see them racing right from the get-go. I suppose it allows for a shorter safety car period with all of the trio just running between the various zones and peeling off at the next one. But I haven't really witnessed that, and I'm kind of in your camp on this one, I've got to say. Damien, your thoughts?
Yeah, it probably, yeah, because the track is so long, I think that's probably part of the reason, and it gets the cars slowed down much faster because it's such a vast area. It's 8.5 miles of all over the place here, and so pardon me, the cars will have, if there's the more safety cars, the quicker the cars are going to find one. And so it slows them down, and it probably protects the incident and the marshals at that incident, whatever that may be, a little bit better. That may be one of the reasons.
I think that's exactly the reason that they have 3 safety cars here, and I think that's a very good reason. However, in this day and age, with all the telemetry and the electronics on these cars, race control, the information, the drivers should be. That's why you have double yellow flags. You slow right down for double yellow flags, and there's all sorts of systems that can be brought in, introduced into these cars that would alert anybody in race control to anybody who's going too fast through a specific zone. It would take a bit of education, no doubt about it, but I think it could be done, because if there's an incident on the track, 98% of the track is clear. It's just the area around the incident where you want to make sure that the speeds are properly maintained.
Well, they could actually do something, like when the incident is clear, or the driver is gone and they're just sweeping up or whatever, they could get rid of 1 or 2 of them. Absolutely. And have them all bunch up together.
I think so. That wouldn't take much more time.
No.
Anyhow,
just an idea.
There we go. We know everything, so we can fix absolutely anything. You know what I don't know is how the fans do it, especially when there's a gale blowing and indeed the rain's hammering down, and you happen to be in a summer tent because that's all you bought, 15 quid from your local supermarket. But they come here, they remain cheery. It's absolutely fantastic, and the grandstands are starting to fill with those looking slightly the worse for wear. They are our friends. Let's not forget that, and they are what this sport is all about. It's marvellous.
Yeah, it is. And for 1 or 2 or 3 of them, perhaps a little bit of alcohol might play a bit of a role in
Maybe
that.
not that friendly. Yeah. Go on.
A note from the number 32 Lotus T128. Boy, the Lotus teams had a Lotus Praga teams had a difficult week, but that car has finally been retired. Terminal clutch problems, we're told. So I think that will be the 8th retirement from the race. And we talked about a little earlier on, the record for the fewest retirements from the 24 Hours of Le Mans is 16. We're currently at 8 with 6.5 hours to go.
And I just got a tweet from Adam. He said, "You even asked for a drive with Murphy prototype on air."
He did.
Damn right I did. He owes me now.
It was the whole interview went along the lines of, "Why didn't you call me? I'm here for you. Why aren't you here for me?" How's that for an impersonation?
Very good. And hey, you don't ask, you don't get.
Of course, I don't ask enough. That's part of my problem. That's why I only race 12 times a year at the moment.
I felt like the ugly partner of the girls. I was. I better leave. I just went round the corner while the love-in got. No. But at least you've made a mark. There we are.
Well, I think so. Look, he knows who I am.
Cameraman's paid his...
I know who he is.
He's paid his €4. It looks like he's the only one on there. Have we got a fixed camera on that thing? I don't think so. It'd be a very cheap special effect instead of using a helicopter, I guess, if we did have a lock-off there. Find your peace where you can, I think, is the message from that gentleman. Still local yellows. And is there a human being there?
There is. He's got a yellow bib there. Is that a photographer's bib?
And that's what he's seeing. Yes, precisely.
Oh, fantastic.
There's some fantastic pictures we've had over the last 18 hours here. Just tremendous camera work here.
somebody's really thinking about it. We can see the camera actually on the Ferris wheel across from us here at the Ford chicane, our vantage point here. Note also from the pit lane, the number 12 Rebellion Lola has been in the pits for about 10 minutes. We'll try and find out why that would be. It's dropped it down now to 8th place, and it is a couple of laps behind the Straka car.
A couple of people asking overnight as to why there are a number of various different helmets, ice hockey helmets, bicycle helmets. Well, basically, you are required to wear head protection as a member of the crew, a disco ball as well. We did have Earth, Wind and Fire last night. Did I mention that before? And yes, you take whatever's comfortable, I guess. If you're not in a particular fire zone, it is a work area. If you're going to be in there, you need head protection. Even the pit lane reporters in the past have been required to wear them, although I think Liz has managed to eschew that, which is...
no, because we have to wear the headsets.
Yes.